Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Afrina Shahira bin Fatimah. My metric number is HFT20203. So, I will present my part, which is version number 1 and number 2. From the statement that given, the population of 500 university students, 25 randomly selected student information about their high school GPA, math set score, English set score, computer set score, and university GPAs. So this is frequency map for set score. For question 1, I need to deliver the frequency table for the math and English set score, which the percentage and cumulative percentage frequency columns. So first, I decide the frequency distribution table, which in group data or group data. For ungrouped data, the classes is single value. One group data, the class is more than one value. Based on the frequency table for the math score, the number of classes is group data. Next is step 2, is to determine the class interval or method. Use the formula class with equal maximum entry minus minimum entry and divide the number of classes. So in this table, the number should be 712 minus 552 and divide by 6 equal 26.6, and the number should be round up to 27. So the first step is you should decide on the number of classes. K is 2 to the power of K rule, such as 2K more than N. There was 25 randomly selected student information about their math set score. For this question, the K should have 6 classes because 6 squared 2 equals 64. So this number is greater than 25. The classes should more than 25 as long as cover the lower and the upper limit in class. Next is step 2, is to determine the class interval or method. Use the formula class with equal maximum entry minus minimum entry and divide the number of classes. So in this table, the number should be 712 minus 552 and divide by 6 equal 26.6, and the number should be round up to 27. The next step is step 3. Set the individual class limit. The minimum data entry is convenient lower limit for the first class. Define the lower limit of the remaining 6 classes. Add the classes width of 27 to the lower limit of each previous class. The upper limit of the first class is 578, which is 1 less than the lower limit of the second class. The upper limit of other class is 578 plus 27 equals 605. 605 plus 27 equals 632, and so on. The last step is the cumulative frequency of the last class is equal to the sample size n. So this is table for frequency, percentage frequency, cumulative frequency, and percentage cumulative frequency. The formula is frequency, percentage is frequency divided by sample size n and multiply 100%. Formula for cumulative frequency is calculated by adding each frequency from frequency distribution table for the sum of the procedure, while formula for cumulative percentage is CF divided by sample size. For the frequency English set score, I should develop the frequency table for English set score with the percent and cumulative percent frequency column. Based on frequency table for English set score, the number of classes is group data. So for this first step, I should decide the number of classes K. The 2 to the power of K rule such that 2K more than N. There were 25 randomly selected student information about their math set score. For this question, the K should have 6 classes because 6 squared 2 equals 64. So this number is greater than 25. The classes should more than 25 as long as cover the lower and upper limits the classes. Next, in step 2, I should determine the classes individual and with it. Use the formula of classes with it equal maximum entry minus minimum entry and divide the number of classes. So 721 minus 486 and divide by 6 equal 39.2, and the number should be around up to 40. Then the third step is set the individual class limit. The minimum data entry is a convenient lower limit for the first class. To find the lower limit of the remaining 6 classes, add the classes with it of 40 to the lower limit of each previous class. The upper limit of the first class is 525, which is 1 less than the lower limit of the second class. The upper limit of the other class are 525 plus 40 equal 565. 565 plus 40 equal 605, and so on. After that, step 4 is make a tally mark for each data entry in the appropriate class. The 5th step is the number of tally mark for a classes in frequency for the class. So this is the frequency distribution for English set score. After the frequency for the first class is 4, second class is 6, third class is 7, and fourth class is 4, followed by 5 classes is 3, and 6 classes is 1. The total of sum is 25. The last step is the cumulative frequency of the last class is equal to the size sample n. For question 2, it should develop the histogram chart of math and English score. A pie chart for the gender of the study sample, so to get the frequency distribution for math first. You should know the classes boundaries, which the numbers that separate classes without minus gap between them. To get a lower boundaries, the lower limit minus 0.5, and to get upper boundaries must plus 0.5. For get a midpoint, should know the lower class limit and plus upper class limit for the classes divided by 2. For example, first class boundaries, to get a lower boundaries, 552 minus 0.5 and get the answer 551.5. So to get the answer of upper boundaries 578 should plus 0.5 and get the answer 578.5. Then to get the answer of mean point, the lower class limit 552 plus upper class limit is 578 should divide by 2. So the off mean point is 565. So this is histogram for math set score using the mid point and axis wishes frequency. So the first class is the midpoint is 565, the frequency is 8. The second class, the midpoint is 592, the frequency is 5. Followed by third classes is the midpoint is 619 and the frequency is 5. Followed by third classes in the midpoint is 619 and the frequency is 5. Followed by fourth classes, the midpoint is 646 and the frequency is 1. The next, the midpoint is 673, the frequency is 3. The last classes is midpoint is 700 and the frequency is 3. So this is frequency for English set score. To get the frequency for English, the step in calculation stays same on frequency math set score. Next, the class boundaries for first class is 486 until 525. For lower boundaries, it's 485.5. For upper boundaries, is 525.5. For midpoint, is 505.5. So, this is histogram at English set score using a mean point and axis y by frequency. For the first class, the mean point 500 and 5.5, the frequency is 4. The second classes, mean point is 545.5. The frequency is 6. The third class is mean point is 585.5. The frequency is 7. Followed by 4 classes, mean point is 625.5, the frequency is 4. The 5 classes, mean point is 665.5, the frequency is 3. The last classes, mean point is 705.5 and the frequency is 1. This is the table for frequency distribution for pie chart for the gender of the study sample. For the gender of study sample, they have male and female. The first step, make a daily mark for each data entry in the Apple class. So the
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. Firstly, let me introduce myself first. My name is Ida Wahida binti Zulkifli and my metric number is H22B0038. And today I will explain about question 3 and 4. Okay, this is the question 3, which is what is the mean math and English SAT score in this sample? Calculate the standard deviation for both. Calculate the median and both for the math and English scores. Okay, first of all, this slide shows my calculation for mean answer for both math and English. The definition of mean is a sum of data entries divided by the number of entries. Next, there is a formula for mean, where x is for midpoint of a class, f is frequency of a class, while n is number of entries in a sample. So based on the slide, my answer for mean for math is 617.5 and mean for English is 583.48. Next, we go to standard deviation. There is a standard deviation for both math and English. And there is also a table column and the formula for variance and standard deviation. And my standard deviation for math is 49.33 and standard deviation for English is 58.99. Then we go to median. The definition of median is the value that lies in the middle of the data when the data set is ordered. Next, there is a formula for median where LM is lower class boundary of median class, FM is frequencies of the median class, sum FM1 is cumulative frequency before median class, and C is class size or class wide. So my answer for median for math is 602.5 and for English is 578.5. Last but not least is mode. Mode is the data entry that occurs with the greatest frequency. There's also formula for mode in the slide, where LM is lower class boundary of the model class. Triangle 1 is the difference between frequency of model class and the frequency of the class before model class. Triangle 2 is the difference between frequency of model class and the frequency of the class after model class, and C is the class size or class wide. As you can see, my answer for math is 586 and for English is 567. Okay, next is question 4, which is estimate the distribution of high school GPA and computer GPA. Using the test for estimating the normal, right skewed or left skewed distribution. Okay, this is the calculation for high school GPA. There is all the sample of scores for high school GPA and there is 25 number of entries in the sample. Firstly, there is also the formula for mean, median, and mode. For mean, where x is for midpoint of a class and n is number of entries in sample, the answer for mean for high school GPA is 3.01 after rounded. Next, for median, is the value that lies in the middle of the data when the data set is ordered. The median is the middle of data entry or an odd number. So the answer for median for high school GPA is 3.09. Meanwhile, mode. For mode is the data entry that occurs with the greatest frequency. So the answer for mode for high school GPA is 3.51. As you can see, there is also a graph for distribution of high school GPA. Based on the graph, it is skewed to the left if it is all extended to the left. Okay, next is for computer GPA. We can see that there is all the sample of scores for computer GPA and there is 25 number of entries in the sample. Firstly, there is also the formula for mean, median, and mode. For mean, where x is for midpoint of a class and n is number of entries in sample. So the answer for mean for computer GPA is 3.11 after rounded. Next, for median is the value that lies in the middle of the data when the data set is ordered. The median is the middle of data entry an odd number. So the answer for median for computer GPA is 3.17. Meanwhile, for mode is the data entry that occurs with the greatest frequency. So as you can see, the answer for mode for computer GPA is 3.41. And as you can see also, there is a graph for distribution for computer GPA. Based on the graph, it is skewed to the left if it is all extended to the left.
Hello everyone, my name is Indrani Datta of Raja and my metric number is H201A2822. Question 5 shows the confidence interval for math SAT score. The sample mean is 618.70 while the sample standard deviation is 53.07. The sample size is 25 and the Z value at confidence level is 95% is 1.96. The formula for this question is shown on the slide. This is the formula. So now we need to substitute all the values above into this formula. At a confidence level of 95%, the estimate interval for the math SAT score is roundly 957.892 to 639.51. This implies that we can express 95% confident in the fact that the actual average math SAT score for the population lies within this particular range. So now Now we will be using the same method to calculate the confidence interval for English SAT score. The sample mean will be 519.72 while the sample standard deviation will be 58.07. The sample size and the z value at confidence level 95% remains the same, which is 25 and 1.96, and the formula also will be the same. So we need to substitute again with the new value in order to find the confidence interval for the English SAT score. The calculation is shown in the slide. Conceptually, at 95% confidence level, the estimate interval for the English score falls within the range of 496.98 to 542.26. This provides us with a 95% confidence that the actual population mean of the English score lies within the specific range. Here I want to explain about question 6. For this question, as you can see, I have used histogram to plot this graph. There is a strong positive linear relationship evident between the high school GPA and the university GPA showcased by the pronounced upward trend line observed in the scalar plotter. This compelling pattern indicates that a student high school GPAs ascend their university GPA also demonstrate a corresponding upward trajectory, highlighting a consistent academic progression.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Daniel B. Omar and my magnetic number H2182871. And for the question 7 is what is the correlation between high school GPA and the overall university GPA? For the total of high school GPA is 75.18, and then for total is for university is 77.71, and then total of multiply by 2 is 234.115, and then total of y multiplied by 2 is 247.81, and then the last one is total of x and y. Total of x and y is 239.74. For the calculation is R multiply 239.74 and minus 75.18 and open bracket 77.71 and close the bracket and divided by 25, and then R multiply by square root and open bracket 234.15 minus 75.18 and divided by 25 and close the bracket, and then open the bracket 247.18 and minus open bracket 77.71 and close the bracket divided by 25, and then R multiply 239.74 plus minus 233.69 and then the square root and open the bracket 234.15 minus 226.08 and then close the bracket and then open the bracket again, and 247.1181 and minus 241.55, and then close the bracket. And then R multiply 6.05, and then divided square root, open the bracket, 807, and then close the bracket, and then open the bracket, 6.28, and then close the bracket, and then R multiply 6.05 multiplied by 7.11, and then the answer is 0.85. For this calculation show that there is a strong positive correlation for the between high school and overall of university CGPA.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Rashika binti Muhammad Rizwan. So my metric number is H22B0015. So I will start my presentation with question number 9. So from the question, we need to use the t-test. So we need to put the numbers following the subject of mathematics and English in the columns for the first step, and we need to know how the total of D1 and D2 with multiply and divided the numbers that you get to get the answer, the full answer. So next we got the answer for D2 is for 55.4908. We need to divide with D1 is 2.07. So the total that we got is 5.3157. So 5.3157 we need to divide it again with 25. So we got 3.07. So for all the total we got is 2.877. So for the question 10, we need to calculate the GPA note, the coefficient and the constant. So firstly, we need to separate the total x2, y2, xy, and as usual, we need to plus all the numbers to get overall of the numbers, the total of the number by their columns. So as we can see, x is the total is 15,376 and y is 14,626. x2 is 952,738, and the balance, as you can see in my slide, for the total y2 and xy. So for the regression equation, we need to total of xy minus total of x and y and divided the n. So the x2 need to minus total of x2. So we got the b1 is the total is 0.9270. So for the coefficients, we need a long way how to count to get their total. So first we need to divide it and minus the total first before we divide to the final answer. For the mathematics and English, for the both of female and male student, the total is 372. So for the B, question is what the R square, R2 in column of the model. First, we need to know what is R2. So R2 is, the answer is 0.26 in the column 2 in the upside. So after we round up, we get the answer is 0.068. So we need to multiply with 100. So we got the answer is 6.8.